then that the real pain overtook me. I knew I had done it before I even heard the time.
For decades, the idea of running a mile in under 4 minutes was dismissed by scientists and coaches alike. Even as athletes edged toward that mark, the barrier remained a fortress of human doubt and muscle fatigue. And then, on May 6, 1954, Sir Roger Bannister shattered that belief. 6 decades later, in October 2019, Eliud Kipchoge broke the 2-hour barrier in the marathon distance. These breakthroughs revealed a simple truth. What was once considered impossible can be achieved when preparation meets human will, endurance, and resilience to pain. It is this same extraordinary spirit that defines the men who have endured the most intense and brutal races in the world. They've competed and accomplished feats that make them seem superhuman. And at the top of that list stands the man regarded as the one who can run forever, Dean Karnazes.
First marathon, and when that's finished, he does it all over again.
A runner who pushes his body beyond the limits of ordinary humans, he still holds the record for the longest period a person has ever run. In 2005, he ran a total of 560 kilometers from San Francisco to Calabasas, California, for 3 straight days and nights, total of 80 hours, running without resting or sleeping. While most runners collapse when their muscles fill with lactic acid, Dean's body doesn't seem to break down. He just keeps going. Karnazes has completed some of the toughest endurance events on the planet, from a marathon to the South Pole in temperatures of -25 degrees Celsius, to the Sahara Marathon in temperatures at 49 degrees and Badwater Ultra Marathon, often called the world's toughest foot race, which crosses Death Valley at over 49 degrees Celsius. Scientists were simply amazed by his endurance, and so in 2006, they decided to conduct tests on his body and measure his limits. After an hour of pushing him to exhaustion, scientists stopped because they simply couldn't break him. The results of those studies led them to conclude that they had never seen anything like that before.
It's not about how fast I go. It's about how far I go.
To run that far for that long is a superhuman feat.
No matter how far they pushed him, his muscles didn't fatigue. For other athletes, it gets to a point where they begin to burn out and the body demands to stop. But Dean Karnazes goes right past that threshold. His muscles don't cramp. He doesn't feel that familiar burn that tells the body to give up. It's as if his physiology was built differently, a system that clears fatigue faster than it appears. In 2006, Dean set out on one of the most ambitious endurance challenges ever attempted, running 50 marathons in 50 consecutive days across all 50 U.S. states. He completed each race without a single rest day, finishing his final run at the New York City Marathon. But even that wasn't enough to satisfy his hunger for distance. He has run more than 100 miles without stopping, pushing through exhaustion that would end most runners. Even when sleep tried to take over, he just kept moving. He calls it sleep running, when his body kept going even as his mind drifted in and out of dreams. The marathon distance to him was like a casual morning jog. He would run a full marathon alone before sunrise, then join an official race a few hours later. 2 marathons in one morning, a total of 84 kilometers, like a walk in the park.
He sets out at 2 a.m. to run his first marathon, and when that's finished, he does it all over again, joining 5,000 other runners at a marathon race in Monterey, California. Total running distance, a staggering 52.4 miles.
However, it's quite sad that he only began these phenomenal achievements at the age of 30. In fact, he never knew that deep inside he was one of the best athletes in the world, because he never trained to be one.
I was in San Francisco on my 30th birthday with my buddies. About 11 o'clock at night, I said I'm leaving. So I walked out and ran 30 miles that night, straight through the night, and became a runner the next day.
For such an extraordinary person, it's almost tragic to think of what he might have achieved if he had started this earlier on. To him, running has always been psychological, a battle between the body and the mind. He often says that you have to keep telling your mind that your body is fine, even when it's burning and aching all over. You have to silence the pain and keep moving forward. Scientists say his secret might be genetic, in his muscles working overtime to recycle fatigue into energy. Others say it's pure willpower, but Dean believes it's a mix of both, a clean lifestyle, an alkaline diet, and a mind that refuses to surrender. Another person who shares this mentality is Yiannis Kouros, oftenly described as the god of ultra running. During his career, he set over 160 world records, rewriting nearly every standard in ultra distance running. In his prime, almost every time he raced, a world record was on the line. The Greek legend still holds the record for the furthest distance a runner has covered in 10 days, which he did by covering 1,609 kilometers. That's equivalent to running from New York to Miami in less than a fortnight. Truly impressive. But that wasn't his only mark of greatness. He also ran 1,000 kilometers in just 5 days and 16 hours and covered 473 kilometers in 48 hours. His dominance was unmatched. He won the historic Spartathlon 4 times, a 246-kilometer race from Athens to Sparta that retraces the steps of the ancient messenger Phidippides. Each time, he finished with a commanding lead, earning him the title the Modern Phidippides. Even decades later, many of his records remain untouched. Modern champions like Alexander Sorokin and Mathieu Bon, despite advanced nutrition, tracking technology, and scientific training, still struggle to match the distances he set with nothing but willpower and instinct. As Kouros once said, "When the body collapses, it's the mind that must take over. Pain is an illusion." The mentality of pain being an illusion is something that is generally upheld by a lot of ultramarathon runners. And when this mentality is backed up by science, technology, and innovation around us today, it can lead to far more outstanding performances. The best example of this fact is reiterated by Kipchoge's sub-2-hour marathon. Another great example of this is Speed Without Limits by Adidas. And so in September of 2025, Adidas set up a 100-kilometer race in Italy, where the sole purpose was to cover the distance in under 6 hours. Out of the 5 athletes who participated in this race, we had Alexander Sorokin, who held the world record at 6 hours, 5 minutes, and 35 seconds for the 100 kilometers. And then we had Sibusiso Kubeka, a South African who had also signed up for this monstrous challenge. He aimed to run the 100 kilometers in under 6 hours in a controlled environment in Italy. The company had prepared for this challenge in advance, equipping the athletes with the right gear, the proper training, and ensuring optimal conditions, all with the sole purpose of lowering the world record by more than 5 minutes. For months leading up to the event, each of the 5 selected athletes trained under a precision program designed by Adidas's Innovation and Performance division. Their training combined endurance conditioning with biomechanical testing. Sessions inside motion labs where foot pressure, oxygen intake, and muscle fatigue were constantly analyzed. To equip them, Adidas developed a prototype of the Adizero Prime, an experimental shoe engineered with a restructured carbon plate and next-generation foam technology. It exceeded official race limits, but it offered unprecedented energy return and stride stability. Every runner's pair was custom calibrated. Sibusiso Kubeka pushed through every grueling kilometer. When he crossed the finish line in 5 hours, 59 minutes, and 20 seconds, he had done the impossible, breaking the 6-hour barrier and eclipsing Sorokin's previous world record by over 6 minutes. 6 minutes might sound small on paper, but in the world of ultra running, it's huge. It represents a leap forward that most athletes chase for decades. However, the performance won't be ratified due to the technological assistance, pacing strategies, prototype gear, and closed course setup. But as technology begins to merge with endurance running, the future of ultra running might see some real, huge improvements, even in much longer distances. And maybe then, these kinds of races will redefine what pain and endurance truly means.